Yes, I get it. You were hardworking, loyal, committed, always showed up for work on time, and was even considered one of the better employees. Yet, when the company fell on hard times, they had to let people go. Your name was called and not others. And now you're angry, you're frustrated, and you're even scared given the fact that you have bills. Well, if that is indeed the case, then you're in the right place. I am a career human resource professional of many years, and I've sat on both sides of that particular desk, both to lay people off and yes, to get laid off. So I know how you feel. Things aren't always what they seem, and you're going to be all right. And I'm going to share with you just how coming up next. Thank you so much for staying with me. If you're new to my channel, my name is Sharon, and you are truly, truly appreciated. That being said, in this particular segment, we're going to tackle 3 areas of what you can do to stay positive once getting laid off, because it is extremely, extremely important. First of all, I would like for you to know that you are definitely, definitely valued. In this particular segment, I'm going to approach this from the HR perspective, given that I am a career human resource professional of many, many years, as I said before. And it's important that you know that when your name was called, it wasn't because you were viewed any less valuable. It was simply because a decision had to be made in a particular area, and they had to make the decision to let someone go. And I know this, remember, I too am experiencing a layoff, so I'm not just talking to you to make you feel better. These are things that I am aware of, because again, I've been on both sides of that particular desk. Never forget that you have value, and that value will follow you everywhere you go. For instance, if you are someone who's dedicated, committed, loyal, and are always on time and do the best job you can, always, this will follow you to your next job, and you will always land on your feet. The one thing that I've learned in all my years on this earth is that there are certain people that have a tendency that always land on their feet, and they're always the same people, and many of them have very similar characteristics, meaning that they're hardworking, they're dedicated, and they don't give up. So whatever you do, do not hold on or harbor any ill will toward the company that let you go any longer than you have to, meaning that I would give it 2 weeks, let it go. Let me tell you why. As a person who interviews, whenever an interviewee comes in and they are talking negatively or have a negative aura about themselves regarding their previous company, this sends a negative message. Why? Well, more than likely, the interviewer is going to be wondering if you cannot deal with the flaws in your previous company, meaning the supervision, your co-workers, as well as other aspects with the company. More than likely, given the fact that every company has flaws, you may not be able to deal with our flaws as well. Remember, the most important thing for your immediate success is to try to get past any harsh feelings that you have for the company that let you go. It was not an easy decision. Trust me, as an HR professional, it was a very difficult decision. One thing that I want to say that maybe you can hold on to is, what would you do if you had to start a company? What was the main reason you started that company? You started that company to make a profit for you and your family so that you can live comfortably. And as time progressed and you became overwhelmed, you had to hire someone. And then you had to hire a second person and a third person. You did not hire them because you were looking out for them. You hired them because you were looking out for you, and you needed to keep making a profit. However, when things turned and the customers started going elsewhere, you had to let someone go because you were no longer able to support that employee and your family. Look at it that way, right? And if you look at it that way, you should get a proper perspective on what happened in your situation. They had to let you go because they needed to survive to see another day. You may not like it. You may feel like they made the wrong choice, but in the end, they had to make a choice. They had to make a decision to survive, just like you would have. Second thing I need to discuss is the responsibility that we have for ourselves. Meaning, if we're being truly honest with ourselves, whether we're salaried or hourly, when working for a company over a long period of time, especially if the benefits are good, we have a tendency, or at least many of us, have a tendency to begin to view that company as something of a parent, meaning that we feel it is obligated to take care of us through thick and thin, which is the farthest from the truth. As a result, what do? We do very little to plan for the future and take responsibilities for ourselves and our finances. We don't have anything in place for times such as these. If that is indeed the case, allow this to be not a negative, not a tragedy, but a learning experience, one that you will never allow to happen again. I'm extremely confident that you, given who you are, will find a job and will find a job soon. And as a result, I'm going to express the importance that you start now to create a financial emergency backup plan for the future. God willing, this never happens again, but you want to be prepared just in case. One of the things that I've done, and I have a video on it that's going to come up at the end of this one, are 3 rules that I refer to as financial emergency planning. 3 things that you should do and that you should implement going forward if you haven't already, to make sure that if this ever happens again, that you do not find yourself in a desperate situation. Which brings me to point number 3. Be aware of becoming complacent over time. So what does it mean to be complacent? Well, it means you're getting too comfortable with the way things currently are. And that is not a good sign if you're unemployed. Why? Because you found a way to survive without working, and so you're no longer in a hurry to go back to work, start getting up at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. or sleeping all day so that you can be ready for work to go in at 10 p.m. This is not something that you want to ever happen. You want to always have a habit that you had when you were working. You want to be looking for a job at least 3 to 4 hours a day every day. You want to have a plan each day on how you're going to have an income coming in by next week at the same time. In fact, complacency can hurt you even if you were employed. Many people have lost their jobs because they become complacent and too comfortable with the status quo and began overlooking crucial aspects of the job as a result. The most important thing about being complacent is that, again, you don't see it coming and the bills will eventually catch up with you, or a relationship will eventually deteriorate because you're not playing your role, you're not providing, you're not doing the part that you had committed to when the relationship started. So complacency, please be aware of when it happens and try to do everything possible to ensure that it does not set in. Get up, have a plan every day as if you were going to work. This is what I do. It keeps me alert. Post something on Craigslist. Post your skills. You have skills. Your skills did not die because you lost your job. You have talent. That talent will follow you everywhere you go. Go to Craigslist. Post your skills on Craigslist, on the want ads. You can do something. Have a plan each day. Get up like you always have. Do not fall into that pattern of laziness or complacency, because it will prolong you being unemployed, and you do not want that. That is it for me for this particular session. I hope to see you again in my next episode.